put your hands together for my next panelist, captain of the Lucknow Super Giants, Rishabh Pant.
Ladies and gentlemen, today I have the pleasure of speaking with a cricketer who has redefined the game with his fearless batting, lightning fast glove work, and infectious energy. A true team player and a match winner. From his heroic innings at the Gaba that sealed a historic Test series win for India to his explosive performances in white ball cricket, he is a player who wears his heart on his sleeve and never backs down from a challenge. Off the field, his journey has been equally as inspiring. Battling back from a life threatening accident with resilience and grit and emerging stronger than ever. He's not just a cricketer, he's a symbol of passion, perseverance, and a true representation of the power of a leader. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming the one and only Rishabh Pant. So, my first question. Everyone knows Rishabh Pant, the cricketer. But not everyone knows Rishabh Pant, the son, the friend, the person. We don't know much about your childhood and your upbringing. So, can you share something about your childhood?
Depends. It's a long story from where you want me to start. Like, generally saying.
Maybe just one memory from your childhood that still stands out for you.
First of all, thank you, Shashwat bhai. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thank you for having me. One childhood memory would be like, I was from a small town, Roorkee. There's IIT in Roorkee. That's what it's famous for. So we used to go to school every day. We used to ride bicycles and go to school. So every day I used to come back home. I used to go to cycle shop because my father wanted me to ride a bicycle, and if I'm riding a bicycle, I used to do it zigzag all the time. I know it might be a bad example, but that's how I used to be as a kid. I just wanted to enjoy each and every day playing cricket, being out there. And my father told me not just to play cricket. Obviously, he wanted me to play cricket like professionally, but he said, if you're gonna play outdoor sport more often, it's gonna help you grow as an individual. And that's what I did always as a kid, enjoying the sport.
You know, every child in India at some point wants to be a cricketer and play for the nation. So, what first drew you to cricket? And what was the moment you realized that cricket wasn't just a passion but your purpose?
I think very early days, like my father wanted me to play cricket. He was a wicket keeper batsman too. So that is where the dream actually started from. Later, I can say later because I started playing cricket when I was in class first.
Uh-huh.
So I started very early, but in fifth class, I don't know what happened to me. I just went to my father and just told him that I want to play cricket professionally at fifth standard, and that is where I accepted that I'm going to play all the sport, but this is one sport I'm going to play professionally.
Absolutely, and I think all of us want to follow in our father's footsteps, and it's wonderful to hear that that's where that first started from. So, would you say he is the one who's had the biggest influence in your life, or has it been your mom?
I think very early on, I think parents definitely plays a huge part. I think it might not be right just to point out only my father or just my mother, because when your parents are there, they're always backing you no matter what you do.
Mm-hmm.
And coming from a small town, we used to have a small school there. So a lot of people used to tell my father, master ji, कहाँ क्रिकेट खिला रहे हो, अपने लड़के को थोड़ा पढ़ा भी लो. And my father used to tell me, कोई नहीं यार, this all will take care of itself. You just focus on playing cricket, and that's what I did. So I think my father's side was always there. The later on, my mother became more and more important in my life because
Mm-hmm.
I lost my father when I was 18. So the bond becomes stronger and stronger, and I just grew from their strength to strength.
Absolutely. And I think I totally echo the thought. If you have your parents backing, I mean, you can climb Mount Everest. So, absolutely. Um, so, in December 22, you survived a near fatal car accident, right? But through sheer willpower, discipline, and an unbreakable spirit, you have fought your way back to the game. So, after your accident, what was the toughest phase of recovery and what pushed you through it?
I think just to pinpoint one phase is difficult for me because every part of that injury was like hardest part for me because as a kid I've been playing cricket in and out, day in day out, and just seeing me so immobile in my life, like I'm someone who is used to do everything by myself, and that's how I grew up. And now just even like small thing, brushing my own teeth was harder for my life. Like I
Mhm,
just couldn't do it for like first 1 month at least. So I feel that part was where I understood that I have to accept that I can't move on from this in 1 day or two. Like I have to accept this, that it is going to stay for at least a year or two. That was the idea.
mhm,
That is where I calmed myself down and just realized that there is no point being negative and criticizing yourself every day, because this is a long injury. If you can keep your headspace in a good way,
mhm,
and you have to find your own ways. Like for me it might be eating food, but for someone it might be talking to someone. So you have to find your own way. I think one advice which really helped me was Ashish Nera.
uh-huh,
I think he is a senior from the club also. He just came to me, saw me, and he told me I had lots of injuries. Just one thing if you can do is keep yourself happy.
mhm.
Do things what makes you feel happy and keep following that. And I think that advice really stood with me and really helped me to go through my injury.
Absolutely. I think it's, you know, in the darkest of times, it's important to stay happy because that's what kind of keeps you motivated to keep doing more. So tell me, you've played cricket before. You're playing cricket after the injury. How has your perspective on cricket changed post injury, and how has your perspective on life changed post the accident?
I think, like you said, once your perspective to life change, I think the perspective to sports definitely change,
Hmm.
because how you see life eventually it will follow.
Yeah.
That's the idea I feel. Because I feel one thing what happened with me, like we are so caught up in day to day life, thinking we wanna have more and more, we don't appreciate what we have. Like I think we should take a time and appreciate some time that what we have in life. And that is something accident taught me. Like simple things like waking up every day, brushing your own teeth,
Hmm.
walking towards your washroom, like small small things, but
Yeah.
it plays huge part. And as day to day life we take it for granted.
Yeah.
I think that's my learning from it. Like because we feel it's very normal, but a lot of people are suffering and they just
Yeah.
can't do it by themselves. And that is where you realize that this is something you are blessed with, and look at the brighter side always. And that is something which really helped me get through my tough time during my accident.
Hmm.
Because I could be sitting in a place where I had no help, nothing, but God has been kind enough to offer me that help, that I can afford myself a life where the help was there. The people around me really stood by me, and that is luxury to have in life. And
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. So appreciation of everything around me became more.
More.
And just taking day to day life, being happy is really important.
Hmm.
Because I feel, yes, you want to be successful each and every day, but a lot of time in sport it might not happen. But that doesn't mean you're gonna beat around the bush and put you down always. You have to have a mindset where you push yourself. Yes, I can be better, but what's question is there? Am I giving my 100% or 200%? I always say. And if you're giving your 200% each and every day, take the result however it is and just try to be your best version in the next day.
No, and I think that's wonderful. I think some very important leadership lessons right there, right? From making sure you're giving your best to how can you push yourself to be a better version of yourself. And most importantly, to practice gratitude and to be grateful. And I think very rightly, as Rishabh pointed out, there are everyday things that we take for granted, but when you go through an injury like he did, that's when you realize how important is even something as simple as, like he said, walking to the bathroom, right? And when you can't do that, that really makes you question a lot of things. So now let's move to Rishabh Pant, the cricketer, the wicket keeper, the captain. You've led teams under pressure, so how do you approach decision making under pressure?
We feel it's like part of the process
Hmm.
and something we always talked about, like we should be following a certain process, and that is part of my life, day to day life. Like when you keep it very simple, like if you are watching a wicket, how it's gonna play, what this batsman is going to do, what we can execute in a better way. I think these are the questions which you keep on thinking about the game all the time, and just following the same process and following your instinct. I always say that follow your instinct because you practice each and every day so much,
Hmm.
so your instinct take over during the game. And I'm someone who let that instinct take over it during the game time, because in pressure situation what happens, you don't back your decision, sometimes you don't back your instinct. So I feel that is really important for me, especially in pressure situation, because that is where your instinct is going to help you a lot. So just back your instinct, back your processes, and trust yourself.
But tell me, when you're in a pressure situation, right? As much as you want to back your instinct, there is the heart, there is the gut, and there is the mind, right? So how do you kind of keep all in balance and still go ahead and take that right call or right decision?
We feel it's easier to say like keeping everything in balance, but in life you don't get that balance always.
Hmm. Hmm.
Okay, accept it or not, but that's at least I'm telling from my point of view that you don't get that balance always, but you are trying to do what's best for your team, putting your needs behind everything, what's best for the team, what's best for the players. And eventually when you make a decision, see, sometimes it's going to work out, sometimes it might not, but you have to live with both the consequences and have their trust that this was the decision I took in the best interest of the team, and just back it.
Talking of team, what does the word team mean to you, both on the field and off the field?
Word team means just one family. We talk about always how we can create an environment where everyone feels comfortable, and team for me is like having a one goal, collective people having one goal and working towards one goal. That's team for me. And how you can create that, that's the environment and trust you got to give that.
Again, I think a very important leadership lesson right there on what a team is and how we can apply that to each of our businesses here, which is really looking at how do you create it as one family to make everyone comfortable so that they can give their best, because it is the collective power of a team that determines whether you as a business will succeed or not. So thank you. I think absolutely, I think very, very relevant for us. So as a leader of the field, you know um, or let me change that. Let me say, as a leader on the field, what's the biggest leadership lesson that playing cricket has taught you?
Uh, Playing cricket taught me to have like, sometimes result might not go to your way, okay, and I feel you gotta accept it, and sometimes you have to back it also, like helping each other, because everyone on the field will not have the greatest of day, but at that moment can you give that guy enough confidence so he can deliver, you know, one ball matters, one extraordinary stumping, one
Yeah.
extraordinary catch,
Yeah.
one extraordinary run out. Because if you're playing a T20 match, so you gotta be on the field for 120 balls. So each and every ball plays a part most of the
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
until the match is finished very early. So generalize. So if you can have that impact, for that to have an impact, because early it can happen, then first few overs you might not have a great time. But if you are in the contest and you are having enough belief, enough trust, you can still come back. And that is what cricket has taught me a lot, that never give up, fight till the last ball. You can change the things around.
Again, another leadership lesson: never give up and fight till the very end, because you can change or you can influence the outcome. So, in your entire cricketing career so far, what's been your most emotional or satisfying innings, and why?
Just one inning can't sum up my like whole cricketing career for me, at least, because there might be inning which I've played which not might be at the top level. I think people only see what you have done in IPL, what you have done in international cricket. But as a cricketer, it's a long journey always. You want to enjoy that journey going forward. Like, yes, there are more highs, then there are some lows, but just pinpointing one of them would be Gaba one.
Uh-huh.
So when it happened, I didn't realize what I did.
Did. Correct.
So Rohit Bhai came to me, he was telling me, you don't realize what you have done, but you're gonna see this in future when people will talk about it.
Mhm.
And I was feeling the emotion, but like I couldn't understand that time
Time, right?
how it has impacted so much. Like, because as a cricketer I see it like I have to give my 100% each and every day.
Mhm.
I just don't take too much high on my inning and too much low when I'm not doing bad, not doing great. So these are the very simple things. I keep it simple, and if, like my boy said, if you can keep it simple for longer period of time, I think you're gonna get the fair result.
Fair. So, beyond what we as spectators get to see of you on the field, there is a lot of hard work, there's a lot of dedication, commitment, and effort that goes into you being you. So, what's a typical day in Rishabh Pant's training schedule like?
I think a lot of time it's very tough days. Like sometimes you don't want to do anything, it feels like that, but as a professional you gotta keep pushing yourself each and every day.
Mhm.
Like, not going too far behind. I think just yesterday, I think, woke up, saw my physio, went for practice, came back from there, we had a gym session, then we had a team dinner last night. So that was the schedule for whole day. Like, and sometimes it takes a lots of energy, lots
Mhm.
of passion, I would say, like, to push yourself each and every day. But that's how it is. Life can't be easy always. Like,
Absolutely.
yes, you are sitting at the highest level and saying that no, I don't want to push yourself. Why not, man? Like,
Yeah.
this is what you strive for, this is what you wanted whole your life, and now you are here and not giving your 100%. And
Yeah.
that's not
Yeah.
me. Just want to give my 200%, especially after accident. I think I enjoy my life more because I understand the meaning of it more that than ever. So that's why just being happy, just enjoying what I do and give my 200%, and it makes my day.
Super. So on that note, what does success mean to you?
I think if you ask me personally, I actually have kept that word out of my head. Like, I don't think about success
Success.
too much.
Mhm.
Like, I've kept my life very simple. Like, that's the hardest part, when you sometimes I also don't know what's happening around me,
Right.
because I'm not someone who's gonna focus on that.
Mhm.
I want to be a guy who can be available for most of the people around us and just be a cheerful guy around them. Like, I don't want to think in a way that I have achieved this, I can achieve that. Yes, you have to give yourself goals every day. Once you do it, it's a tick box for me, and you move forward from there.
Yeah.
Not thinking about how I'm successful or not.
No.
Just giving my 200%, and that's how I see life.
Absolutely, and I think what you're saying is very important, right? It's about not letting success get to your head, and therefore just focusing on how can you give your best each time, each and every day.
Yeah.
So in cricket, like in every sport, you win some, you lose some. So what keeps you motivated? How do you kind of get back on track? How do you kind of keep pushing yourself, especially after, say, you've had a bad series, for example, right?
A goal above your thinking always
Hmm.
keeps me motivated, because I feel like, everyone is thinking, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, but some goals you have to keep above your imagination. That is where a role as a team becomes more important, because when you're thinking that just I want to perform, I want to do this, you're not being part of the team. Eventually you're part of the team, but that's how at least I look at it. It takes that pressure off of me performing always in
Hmm.
my mind, and eventually the performance happens.
Yeah.
So it's just how I see it. So the pressure of performing every day, because if you are on top level, you are thinking that I'm going to perform each and every day and win match for my team.
Hmm.
And just to keep it simple, how do you take that pressure off? Is by thinking for the team, and eventually your process, your performance will follow.
Now I want to go back down memory lane, right? You said it was in class 5 when you kind of at that point said that this is something that it's beyond a passion, it's something that you believe is your purpose. So how did it feel on your first day wearing the India team jersey and being part of the team? How was that feeling? How would you describe that?
Like, describing is like, I just can't describe it. Like, it was my life biggest moment. Like, every cricketer who is playing cricket, I feel, is thinking that one day I'm gonna get that Indian jersey and wear it. And it was my proudest moment. Like, at that point of time in my life, doesn't matter what I did, just wearing that Indian jersey was the proudest moment of my life. Being able to represent my country, I think, can't take more proud than that in anything.
Absolutely, absolutely. And now, Rishabh, I'd like to move to some more fun rapid fire type of questions before we end.
Please.
So if you weren't a cricketer, what would Rishabh Pant be doing today?
If I wouldn't be tennis player, I think I've grown
Okay.
interest in tennis now a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Are you good at it?
Not really, but like, see, if I'm gonna keep practicing, I'm gonna get better.
And in India, and all of us as Indians, cricket is an important part of us, our society, our culture, and all of us have superstitions when it comes to watching a match, and how we believe our superstitions or our acts can kind of change the outcome of the match, right, in our favor. So, do you have any pre-match rituals or quirky superstitions?
See, there are a lot of them. I think most of the cricketers have some rituals. Like, most of the time when I'm entering the field, I put my left foot forward always, and that is one of it.
Okay.
Like, and every cricketer has it. I think Saurav sir has lot of superstition. Always he used to follow it. Like, trying not to follow that many, but just taking one or two out of it.
Fair, fair. Um, and one thing with respect to cricket that you do every single day without fail, without which you'd think your day is incomplete.
So one thing, like what I have practiced, especially my accident, like every day I wake up, I thank God
Mhm.
before getting off the bed. That is something I practice each and every day, and it's keep my day going.
Fabulous. And what's one off the field hobby or passion that people don't know about you?
One of the field. I'm open book most of the time. See, I want to have a personality where I meet people, they don't think that this is a different guy. So my idea is very simple. Just be cheerful, whatever I can from my side, always thinking good for each and every person around me. But one thing would be like I like to read a lot, not reading book all the time, but
Mhm.
like listening to the knowledge thing. I
Okay.
like to
Okay.
have knowledge about stocks, about
Okay.
companies, about journal knowledge. Like keep on reading stuff.
And given the busy schedule, do you get time to read? Is it
I
more a book or is it more reading on your phone on the go?
see I'm staying away from the phone most of the
Okay.
time. That is something I try to practice because nowadays you guys are making it very difficult. Like nowadays, it's the social media age.
Yeah.
You gotta keep using your phone. That's how you keep yourself connected. But like one of my mentor, that is one of my biggest learning. But it's easier to focus when you don't have phone in life.
And what's your mantra on leading a healthy lifestyle? Food, diet, workout.
I feel it's always good. Like before my accident, I wasn't like very aware about it. But after my accident, I think training plays a huge part because I have to keep on doing my rehab. Then my fitness, obviously, I have to go to the gym most of the time now. I think the one thing I've been looking after is my food.
Mhm.
Like before, I used to eat whatever I wanted to eat, but now at least a nutrition guy is there. You look after my food. I think a lot of changes happened, and practicing like being happy.
Sense. Absolutely. And talking of food, if you could have dinner with three people, living or dead, who would you invite for this dinner and why?
Three people. If I have to invite three people, surely it shouldn't be cricketers, man. I think one would be Roger Federer.
Uh-huh.
I think the way he plays, I really
Yeah.
enjoy it.
Yeah.
Second would be Cristiano Ronaldo.
Uh-huh.
I like Messi more, but I feel I can learn a lot
Learn
from
from Krishna.
Ronaldo
Yeah. Yeah.
because that's how he is. And third one, I think our Prime Minister,
Yeah.
Modi sir. So I think a lot to learn from him.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I think from our honorable prime minister, I mean, the kind of energy, the passion, and the single focus for building India that he has, if each of us bring that to our businesses, I mean, each of our businesses would be flourishing. So, yeah, absolutely. Um, last two questions. What's the one thing about you that you'd like to change?
There might be a lot of things I need to
Just one.
change. Just one. See, I'm happy the way I am, but I'm looking to improve myself each and every day. And I'm willing to take suggestion. Like I try to work on myself every day, but I don't know what if people want me to change something. I will analyze it and look to change it. Very simple. Otherwise, I'm okay how I am.
Fair. And we have a lot of young entrepreneurs here in the room today. So if you could go back and give 18-year-old Rishabh Pant some advice, what would it be?
Oh, oh, tough question. I think one advice what I'm gonna give myself when I was 18 is for me it's funny now, but it wasn't like drive slow. Easy.
So, on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I think this session has been nothing short of inspirational. Lots of leadership lessons, lots of insights into the grit, determination, consistency, and hard work that goes behind being an international legend. Rishabh, thanks once again for doing this. And ladies and gentlemen, please give it up once again for Rishabh Pant.
Thank you guys.